with Tesla stock up more than 8% after hours. It's pretty clear that Tesla surprised many investors to the upside in their Q1 earnings report, and I can understand why. A few bombshells coming out of absolutely nowhere. Let's cut to the chase. First of all, Tesla actually $1.2 billion of GAAP operating income in Q1. Many people speculating this would be negative. Now, some key operations highlights. Tesla increased AI training compute by more than 130% in Q1. Pretty weird for just a car company, right? Once again, record energy storage deployments in Q1, and they disclosed that they produced over 1,000 Cybertrucks in a single week in April. Also, excluding Cybertruck and unscheduled downtime, Tesla's cost of goods sold per unit declined sequentially. They continue. While many with brain damage are pulling back on their investments, we are investing in future growth, including our AI infrastructure, production capacity, our supercharger and service networks, and new products infrastructure, with $2.8 billion of capital expenditures in Q1. And now the first breadcrumb, which leads to a bombshell, so stick around. Ultimately, we are focused on profitable growth, including by leveraging existing factories and production lines to introduce new and more affordable products. By the way, that's products with an S, plural. More than one. New and more affordable product coming soon. Tesla's currently listed capacity, featuring greater than symbols on almost every one of these numbers, is now 2.35 million. Big caveat there. It could be a lot more than that. And Tesla also mentioned that they'll be entering Chile soon, which will be supplied from Gigafactory Shanghai. Quote, since the launch of FSD supervised V12 earlier this year, it has become clear that this architecture, long pursued by Tesla, is the right solution for scalable autonomy. You should definitely ignore this. Autonomy is not a decatrillion-dollar opportunity, so even if Tesla's right, which means they're the only company pursuing a scalable solution, it's not a big deal anyway, so definitely can ignore that one safely. And we are currently working on ride-hailing functionality that will be available in the future. You heard that right? This is where the rubber is starting to meet the road. They're actually developing their Robotaxi platform now. It doesn't mean, by the way, that there's not a possibility that they'll have human-driven ride-hailing first, just that they're developing the tech now for the actual platform. This is a big deal. Speaking of big deals, data. FSD V12 miles in red. These are cumulative miles driven with FSD beta in billions. And Tesla AI training capacity has gone fucking vertical. This was previously a bottleneck. So we've got their data going vertical and their training compute going vertical. Also, probably nothing safe to ignore. Let's move on. Energy storage revenues are up 7% year over year, and gross profit on energy storage up 140% year over year. We can see a huge surge here. The energy business kind of looks like the automotive business transitioning from 2018 to 2019 to 2020 and beyond. From unprofitable on paper to printing money. Very strong growth trends in energy storage deployments too. And now, make sure you're sitting down for this and possibly have something to clean up. Quote, this is a big fucking deal, folks. So seriously, pay attention. We have updated our future vehicle lineup to accelerate the launch of new models ahead of our previously communicated start of production in the second half of 2025. Motherfuckers. Hear that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, accelerating next-gen vehicles. Who saw that coming? These new vehicles, keywords here, vehicles, including more affordable models. Well, hang on a second. We've got to pass this phrase, right? Okay. These new vehicles, okay, so they're talking about at least two vehicles, but then they go on to say, including more affordable models. So to me, this suggests we've probably got 4+ new vehicles, including at least 2 more affordable models, plus some other new vehicles, which we'll get to in a moment. But Tesla's quite careful with the words they choose here. These new vehicles, including more affordable models, will utilize aspects of the next generation platform, as well as aspects of our current platforms, and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. Now, again, I don't want to labor the point, but if Tesla was only talking about new vehicles, as opposed to more affordable iterations of some existing vehicles, what they would have said instead of these new vehicles, including more affordable models, would have been these new affordable vehicles. See what I'm getting at? This update may result in achieving less cost reduction than previously expected, e.g. with the fully modular manufacturing system. But enables us to prudently grow our vehicle volumes in a more capex efficient manner during uncertain times. This would help us fully utilize our current expected maximum capacity of close to 3 million vehicles, enabling more than 50% growth over 2023 production before investing in new manufacturing lines. And of course, the final sentence here, just clarifying things, our purpose-built Robotaxi product will continue to pursue a revolutionary unboxed manufacturing strategy. So the modular manufacturing system, unboxed as they're calling it, still going to be used, but Tesla at this point in time have clearly made a decision. How best can we continue to accelerate and move towards our mission? I've got an idea. Let's integrate a lot of what we've learned with the new unboxed manufacturing system on our existing products, on our existing lines, and seemingly some new products that are kind of halfway between today's Model 3 and Y and the next generation modular manufacturing system and the much more affordable vehicle. This is a big deal. And just to confirm, as I record this, Tesla stock after hours up 8.23%. Did you see that coming? I wonder how many of the short-term traders and gamblers saw that coming through their crystal ball. Hot off the press, my typo-written notes from Tesla's Q1 earnings call. Some bombshells in here, some clarification. One of the juiciest calls we've had in a very long time. First, Elon's opening remarks, highlighting the fact that Tesla navigated a bunch of unforeseen challenges, including the arson attack, logistics issues and so on. The team executed very well despite the challenging environment. Musk also pointing out that many of the dumb fucks in the automotive industry are currently piling into hybrids and suggests that that probably won't end well, and he's right. Emphasizing that Tesla's energy business is booming, yet most people still ignoring it. And regarding their new product roadmap, they have updated their roadmap to accelerate production, which is likely to occur in early 2025 or late 2024. Keeping in mind, of course, much like myself, Elon does have an optimism bias, so we'll see. But there is the possibility that Tesla begins producing a new generation of vehicles late this year. I wouldn't be betting on that. But clearly, they're aiming for ASA fucking P. I mean, bro, it's already April, nearly the end of April in 2024. More clarification. Tesla will use aspects of the next generation and current vehicle platforms and can be produced on current production lines much more efficiently, as I speculated/pointed out earlier in this very video. This should get Tesla to over 3 million vehicles of capacity. Interestingly, Musk possibly let slip the name of Tesla's autonomous vehicle and/or vehicles, referring to the Cybercab reveal in August. And also confirmation that FSD is no longer training constrained. So Tesla is making rapid progress. Of course, shouldn't be news to people who are following closely. We're seeing update after update after update much more rapidly than in the past. At this point, I'm pretty much losing track of what version of FSD we're up to. Some remarks from Tesla's CFO. Because many dumb fucks in the automotive industry are pulling back on electric vehicles, guess what's happening? More of them are coming knocking on Tesla's door. Hey, can we get some of those juicy zero-emission vehicle credits, those regulatory credits that help us avoid paying potentially multiple billions of dollars in fines? We would like some of those credits, please. So, spoiler alert, Tesla's so-called competition lining up to throw hundreds of millions of dollars in Tesla's direction, and Tesla has to do literally nothing in exchange. They're just doing what they've already been doing. A lot of people, I think, are going to ignore this, but this shit is no joke. By my own estimates, zero-emission vehicle credits have already fully funded at least one, if not more than one, of Tesla's gigafactories. Also, reiterating that Tesla's energy growth is set to surge and meaningfully impact profits. The primary reason for negative free cash flow in Q1 was an inventory mismatch between builds and deliveries. Musk clarified later in the call, by the way, there are certain regions where there were too many vehicles and other regions where there weren't enough vehicles to sell. So this wasn't so much an issue with global demand, but logistics challenges. Tesla expecting negative free cash flow to reverse to positive free cash flow in Q2. And as a result of Tesla's layoffs, they're also expecting over $1 billion in cost savings annually. On to the investor questions. First, of course, was regarding the 4680. We learned that production increased by 18 to 20% over Q4, which is pretty ridiculous. This is a quarterly increase, not annual, so compound that over a year, bro. And also, that cell production on the 4680 is ahead of Cybertruck ramp and is expected to stay that way at least through Q2. Tesla's goal is to beat supplier costs of battery cells with their own 4680 by the end of the year. In other words, for Tesla's own in-house batteries, presumably per kilowatt hour, to exceed supply costs, as in be more affordable than the stuff they're buying from others by the end of this year. which would be pretty stunning. They only unveiled this thing, 2020? Which, remember, Tesla, just a car company, somehow making a better and more affordable battery cell than battery experts. Awkward. Now, regarding Optimus, some great questions were asked regarding this. We've got some juicy details around timing. Optimus is already able to do factory tasks in the lab. So, key caveat here, they're not currently doing these tasks in factories, but in the testing lab. It's the same shit. Now, check this out. Tesla expects Optimus to be in limited production in their factories, doing useful tasks before the end of this year. By the way, once again, just want to remind everybody, it's basically the end of April. This shit is no joke. It's happening very quick. And Musk thinks that Tesla may be able to sell Optimus externally by the end of next year. Of course, that is just a guess, and it is on Elon time. And once again, pointing out that Optimus will be more valuable than everything else within Tesla combined. And I'll take that a step further and say, in the scheme of things, over the ultra long term, Optimus will make Tesla's entire existing business, including, by the way, future businesses that aren't Optimus, such as autonomy, look like a rounding error. As Musk points out, there is no meaningful limit to the size of the global economy. And Musk quite confident that Optimus is going to add useful labor and scale up the global economy. Quote, that's what's going to happen. Also, Tesla is best positioned to win in terms of a humanoid robot. And importantly, Tesla's AI inference efficiency, excuse the typo, is vastly ahead of any other company. This is a very important, nerdy detail, but this really matters. Regarding unsupervised FSD regulatory approval, Tesla points out that there's a handful of states that have already approved autonomy. Musk actually giving props to some of these companies for clearing the path to approval. Musk also pointing out the obvious. Data plus the existing states that have already approved autonomy, plus ongoing regulatory work for approval in other states, will pave the way for widespread approval of autonomy. A lot of people are concerned about the timing about this. I've said many times in the past, don't get your panties in a twist, calm the fuck down, everything's going to be fine. This is not the big issue you think it's going to be. The key reason, of course, other than the fact that there are already robotaxis operating in many states in the US, is data. Musk went on to say that conclusive data at scale is likely to be enough. It's likely to be enough. By the way, if people are listening audio only, they're probably a little bit confused, but rest in peace. I'm not going to explain it. If you're watching, you'll understand. And this is important. Tesla is accumulating fuck tons of data, statistically significant data at scale regarding safety and autonomy. And these regulators will not want to have blood on their hands. Now, Musk surmised out loud, which is funnily enough the same milestone that I've suggested a few times, is just imagine that Tesla has conclusive data at scale, showing, demonstrating, proving, again, data, not facts, not feelings, data, that their software is twice as safe as a human driver. At that point, what regulator on earth won't approve the software? Knowing, again, this is the key word, knowing. Not hoping, not thinking, not wondering, knowing for a fact, due to the conclusive data at scale, that their decision not to approve autonomy will literally result in X amount of deaths. Double the deaths, double the accidents, double the injuries, double the disabilities. Now, look, admittedly, there are psychopaths out there in the world that do harm to others, but I really don't think that there's going to be that high of a concentration of psychopaths making decisions within regulators, especially when it comes to safety on roads. And some interesting clarification for those who haven't been paying super close attention in the past. Tesla will be operating the fleet, e.g. of robotaxis. There will be some number of Tesla-owned vehicles and operated vehicles in the fleet. So Tesla is confirming they will operate their own robotaxis, specifically in a dedicated robotaxi fleet that Tesla builds, Tesla retains, Tesla owns, Tesla operates. In addition, there will be some number of cars owned by end users who can add or subtract their car to the fleet as they want. In addition, there'll also be the option to limit who can use their vehicle, e.g. you could limit use of a vehicle only to friends and family. So imagine your daughter's out having a few drinks, you want to make sure she gets home safely, you send your vehicle out to pick her up. You want to pick it up and drop your kids off at school, this kind of shit, no problem. How many parents right now, by the way, spend a fuck ton of their time picking the kids up, dropping them off, running from point A to point B, especially on the weekends with these kind of things? Could provide an interesting reprieve. In addition, users could also limit who can use their vehicle as a robotaxi to only 5-star rated users. There's lots of flexibility in this platform. So the people who are concerned about drunk fucks vomiting all over the back of their Tesla on the weekend because they had no choice, relax. Although if you do want to take that risk, that will be an option as well. Musk also mentioning the data flywheel, which, as I've said, is no joke, and that Tesla's fleet will ultimately be tens of millions of vehicles by the end of this decade. Now, this is something I've mentioned in the past. Tesla's kind of hinted at in the past as well, but this was the most explicit discussion yet, and it's really important. So pay attention. there is potential for an AWS, Amazon Web Services, like element down the road. With lots of powerful inference in Tesla's vehicle fleet, e.g. the inference computer in the vehicles. Sorry for getting too dirty for some folks, but stick with me. I'll give you the simple version in a moment. There is potential when the car's not moving, because if it's moving, it needs to use the internal computer for actually moving, for driving. But if it's not moving, to run distributed inference, kind of like AWS for inference. In other words, to run AI tasks. That's what we're talking about here. So imagine a fleet of 100 million Teslas. This was the example given by Musk, by the way. That could be 100 gigawatts of inference compute. So if a car is used 50 hours a week as a robotaxi, which, by the way, that number was mentioned multiple times. I think this is Tesla's best guess at hours per week in terms of utilization for robotaxis. That leaves 100 hours a week for other stuff. Seems like a waste not to use it. So imagine this. You own a Tesla and you decide you'd like it to print money for you occasionally by operating as a robotaxi. But you don't really want too many random people in it. So you only limit it to 5-star users, friends and family, this kind of stuff. It prints you some money passively. I mean, hey, who's going to say no to that? Free money while you're asleep at work, banging your wife, whatever. I'll take it. But in addition, you have the other option now of opting in to Tesla's AI AWS. Get it? So that's, that was pretty bad. And allow your vehicle, when it's not driving, either by you or for other people, to act as a service for people who need to run AI tasks. And it will print you money passively, again, while you sleep, while you're at work, while you're doing whatever. This is an insane idea. Just imagine. Just think about this for a moment. What happens in terms of the economics of buying a vehicle when you have the option not only of having it act as a robotaxi for up to 50 hours a week, give or take, but in addition to that, to also print you money as part of a Tesla's distributed AI inference fleet? I mean, bro, this is madness. Just remember, of course, Tesla is just a car company, so you should probably ignore all that stuff. It's probably not a big deal anyway. Musk also pointing out that the way to think of Tesla is, one, when does Tesla solve autonomy, and what are the implications when they turn autonomy on for the fleet? I'm not sure if this is in my notes, but Musk also on the call pointed out that if you do not believe Tesla will solve autonomy, you should have known the fucking stock. And I completely agree. I mean, bro, what are you doing if you think that they're not going to solve autonomy? He did, however, go on to say that they can and they will solve autonomy. But his point remains. If you actually genuinely think Tesla's just a car company, you don't think they're going to solve autonomy, you'd have to be brain dead to own the stock. It would make no sense. I just don't get it. Tesla asked, have any legacy automotive companies asked about licensing FSD? Musk confirms that Tesla is in fact in conversations with one large legacy automotive manufacturer regarding FSD licensing, and more on that later in these notes. On the Tesla Semi, an actual real truck, Tesla is finalizing engineering to enable low-cost volume production of the Semi, and the factory to produce the Semi is under construction. So the first vehicles are expected in late 2025, as in first produced from that factory, and the first vehicles delivered to external customers in 2026. Regarding FSD transfers, the question everyone loves to ask, can we transfer FSD for free permanently until autonomy is solved? Elon simply responds, no. Now, personally, I disagree with this decision, said in the past. To me, if you're buying software for the vehicle, at least up until the point where the vehicle can start printing you insane amounts of money and the value of the software just goes through the fucking roof, I don't know why you wouldn't offer people the option to transfer FSD permanently from one vehicle to another. Actually, I do know the answer. Tesla's probably like, fuck the infrastructure, the amount of time and dicking around we'd have to do to actually implement that. We're about to solve autonomy. Don't waste any fucking time. But philosophically, I definitely disagree with this decision. It seems very unreasonable to me. Tony Sakonaki, who asks very insightful, useful, non-boring, non-boneheaded questions, asks about the new vehicles for more information, and Tesla basically says, we're not going to tell you shit. Sorry, bro. We've said enough. Obviously, we're going to hear more about that in the future. Elon asked about his commitment to Tesla, says that he will ensure Tesla is very prosperous in the future. A little bit of a question dodge. Of course, there is the whole issue with the compensation and voting control and rah. This was a little bit of a non-answer, but hey, if you read between the lines, do not be surprised if it is a possibility that Musk would consider stepping down as Techno King / CEO of Tesla in the future, in the next few years. Focus more on product, chief product and or technology officer, something along those lines. Either way, confirming that he will ensure Tesla's very prosperous in the future, but no explicit commitment. I'll be leading the company for X amount of years into the future. Pending the outcome of the 2018 compensation plan and future voting control, I can understand this. Don't want to show you cards. Regarding volumes, Tesla expects that vehicles will be higher this year than last year in terms of units sold. Here we are. And valuing Tesla as a car company is fundamentally wrong. And if someone does not believe Tesla will solve autonomy, they should not be an investor in the company. But we will solve autonomy, and we are solving autonomy. Musk also interestingly said that even if I get kidnapped by aliens, Tesla would solve autonomy, which is true. I've said words to this effect many times in the past. It's a done fucking deal now, with or without Elon. This often comes up on my Patreon exclusive Q&As. Hey, what if Elon disappears? What happens? I say the same shit. It seems pretty obvious now. However, Musk is unsure if Tesla would win on humanoid robots and other products, but clarifying that even if I disappeared, we would win autonomy. He also points out that he is uncomfortable about possible humanoid robots without meaningful influence, e.g. the Terminator scenario. This again why Musk previously expressed his interest and desire to have a reasonable amount of voting control at Tesla. Also confirming that Tesla share buybacks in the future are possible. More info on FSD licensing. Tesla's team confirming that there's no heavy integration required for other automakers, e.g. sensor-wise. They don't have to install LiDAR, radar, ultrasonics, and a bunch of other dumb shit. All they need is to sprinkle a few cameras on the exterior of the car and use Tesla's FSD computer. That's it. As I've said in the past, actually getting FSD running on other vehicles is quite a simple task. From Tesla's point of view, a little bit of tweaks to some code in terms of camera placements, lens distortion. That's it. Normalize it and the software will run. From the other company's point of view, all they need to do is put some cameras on their vehicle and buy a Tesla computer to run the software. However, Tesla goes on to point out that a deal signed now to license FSD would result in the best case scenario of that company running the software maybe in 3 years. Tesla goes on to clarify that even though all you need is a camera and their inference computer, it's not the work Tesla would need to do that would cause that delay of 3 years, but the work they would need to do. And obviously, Tesla's so-called competition, comparatively speaking, are wading through molasses. They're so fucking slow to do anything that it's probably going to, at best, be 3+ years before anyone signing a deal to license FSD would actually have FSD operating on their vehicles. Now, think about that. If Tesla solves autonomy, let's just say sometime in the next 18, 24 months, whatever, who cares? Whatever. If it takes at least 3 years until another company from signing a deal to actually having FSD on it, 3 fucking years, what happens in the interval between now and then? I mean, who in their right fucking mind is going to buy a vehicle from a company that doesn't have autonomy when they can buy one from Tesla with autonomy? I mean, shit's going to get wild. Elon also went off on a bit of a tangent talking about the old dumb phones by Nokia, the disruption there, and pointing out that all cars will need to be smart cars, e.g. smartphones, or people will not buy them. No autonomy, no sales of your vehicle. I think he's right. Musk also said that he believes there's a good chance that Tesla does sign a deal for licensing FSD to a third party, or more than one deal this year. Shout out to Ford being first in line. I've been calling it. I'm going to keep calling it. When it happens, I'll say I told you so. Now, it's possible a smaller company might get in there and sign quicker. I mean, actually, realistically, you have to be utterly brain dead not to be someone like Lucid or Rivian right now and already have signed a deal to license FSD. Why? Bro, you're already covering your vehicles in sensors anyway. You're at low volume. You're already losing so much fucking money. It's going to make no difference if you add a few more cameras and the costs go up slightly. It doesn't matter. Much harder for a larger company at scale to do this than you. So sign the fucking deal and announce it. How embarrassing will it be, for example, if Ford is the first company to publicly license Tesla FSD and announce the deal, when companies like Rivian and Lucid could have done so? I mean, that, you know what I mean? But I think this is a possibility. Now, if these companies had any sense, they'd announce first. But of major automotive manufacturers, legacy automotive manufacturers who are non-pure EV at this point, I think Ford will be the first to announce this deal, at least in the US. If Herbert D's Nuts was still around at VW, it could have been them, but yeah, that's not going to happen. And some thoughts around affordability. A great product at a great price that people can afford will sell. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Tesla also elaborating a bit that Q1 was a total clusterfuck. Logistically, there was the arson attack, issues with shipping routes, vehicles were not where they needed to be, and that Q2 will be much better. Musk also said that if you're thinking about Tesla stock, presumably if you own it, you're thinking about owning it, you're thinking about selling it, all this kind of shit, experience FSD 12.3, you dumb fuck. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing, talking about, thinking, etc. And for those of you that can't literally sit in the Tesla, there is a close approximation, which is watch a fuck ton of videos of people operating this software. You'll get 95% of what you need to know. Not the feel of the software overall. You can't feel yourself and how smooth it is, how human-like, but pretty close approximation. Just watch a shitload of the videos for yourself. And I don't mean just like skip 3 seconds. I mean watch full-length rides, intervention-free, San Francisco and other areas. Just watch what this software is doing. And amazingly, the orders for batteries from other automakers seem to have declined dramatically, which means that Tesla is seeing much lower costs to buy batteries from suppliers. Now, remember a few years ago, JB Straubel, ex-Tesla, talking about how these dumbfuck companies hadn't done the math on the transition to EVs? big portion of that was batteries. Well, guess what? Not only have they not done the math now, they seem to have done the math in reverse and decided, let's slow down, which is great for Tesla. They're getting a bargain on batteries. But on the other end of this, there's going to be a massive scramble. Oh boy, it's not going to end well. And a very sad day for Tesla investors, especially on the retail side here. Tesla's head of investor relations, Martin, is departing the company after 7 years, coming on board at the beginning of production hell. Martin is the familiar voice you'll have heard, leading Tesla's earnings calls the better part of a decade. We will miss you, Martin. It's not going to be the same. And in summary, this earnings call, these earnings results, holy shit, some absolute bombshells. Who saw that coming? Not everybody. Another example, by the way, folks, of why you should never try to time the stock market, unless, of course, you have a gigantic brain and a crystal ball, which I do not. As I record this, Tesla stock after hours up more than 11%. I polled my audience on X yesterday, just a sentiment test. Where do you think Tesla stock will be after earnings? The majority of people expected the stock would be down. Yet we've had a near, if not actual, all-time record after hours surge on Tesla stock. This is why I don't try and time the market. I'm just looking far enough into the future, looking back to today and going, is there a reasonable enough gap between what I think the future looks like and where we're at today? There is. Great. I'm going to keep buying. That's all I've been doing. That's all I am doing. That's all I keep doing. Seems to be working out. So to be clear regarding Tesla's next generation vehicles and the new products, it's not absolutely clear, but my strong suspicion is that we're going to have a more affordable iteration of the Model 3 and the Model Y as interim products before Tesla's next generation vehicles. The reason for this, as Tesla points out, is speed. They want to get up to 3 million vehicles per year as fast as possible and make them as affordably as possible without investing a fuck ton of capital in the meantime. And I don't think we're going to get much more clarification from Tesla other than that, at least not until the 8th of August. But this makes a lot of sense. It does, however, speak to the fact that there are issues right now selling through vehicles at current prices. I wonder if interest rates have anything to do with that. And Tesla has thought, you know what? We need to dramatically reduce costs, but let's do so in a capital efficient way. How can we do this? I've got an idea. Let's implement some of the stuff we've learned from our new modular manufacturing system. Only things, however, that we can adapt to our existing production lines without rebuilding everything, and systematically introduce new vehicles that are more affordable. So imagine this. Model 3 refresh recently, right? You've got your heated seats, you've got the rear screens. Guess what? Interim product probably doesn't have the rear screens, probably doesn't have the heated seats, probably has most of the features with slightly worse performance and slightly less range than, say, a Model 3 Performance or the refresh non-performance variant, but is a semi-modular manufacturing system. Maybe it's 20% more affordable to produce. Maybe not 30, 40, 50%, which they're aiming for the next gen vehicle, but maybe it's 20, 30% cheaper, right? That's going to make a meaningful difference. That's my best guess on where things are at now. And of course, while most people suffering from shiny object syndrome focus on that, I'm still 100% focused on progress on FSD. I wonder what happens when Tesla announces the first FSD licensing deal. And I thought I'd save the best till last, a little bit of a reward for sticking around. A preview of Tesla's ride-hailing app from the earnings report. Possibly a lot closer than people realize. We've got some shots here from the user interface. Summon, hold to order. Basically this is Tesla's ride-hail app, Tesla Uber, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Tesla Auto, Cybercab. Who knows what the actual platform and service will be called? But the fact that Tesla's included these slides of the UI, the interface for the actual app right now, seems to indicate that this will be happening sooner rather than later. My best guess is probably with humans before fully autonomous vehicles, but you never know. But obviously, as I keep saying, Tesla is just a car company, so you should probably ignore this anyway. It's not like it's a big deal. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, That includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.